Welcome back, Helldivers. The long weekend in America is over now. We're all returning to our normally scheduled lives at this point. Hopefully everyone had a great weekend with family, friends, or whatever you may have enjoyed over the weekend. We do have some updates on the Warbond, some major order updates, and is Major Truth going back underground? I'll cover all that in today's video. Starting out with the Warbond, we do have an update. There is a correction to the blog post. The armor passive is not a stagger resist. It is actually still keeping the ragdoll resist, but 100% melee damage. Probably pairs nicely with that chainsaw sword. It did kind of confuse me a little bit that we had stagger resist because I never noticed myself being staggered in the same way that the enemies get staggered from some of our weapons. You will flinch, which we already do have some armor sets to prevent that flinching. So I found it a little interesting that maybe it was going to be some new stuff coming out with the new content, but it looks like it was just an error on their part. Now, we also did get confirmation on what the weapon in the superstore is going to be, and it looks like it's going to be a double barrel shotgun with medium penetration. We obviously have to see what the damage and the fire rate is going to be on that shotgun to be able to tell if it's actually going to be worth taking or not, because I feel like the Halt is a medium pen shotgun and it does not live up to any kind of damage per second. While it is a great weapon when the stun rounds do work, the medium pen just, I feel like it does not kill things nearly as quick, especially if you're talking about horde factions. You don't necessarily want to take that shotgun, but it could still have its fun uses at times. We also got confirmation that there is a medium armor in the superstore as well, so if you're farming super credits tonight, make sure you're getting closer to 2,000 and make sure you can unlock everything in the superstore as well with that medium armor, its associated helmet, and the medium pen shotgun. Now, looking at the major order, it was a little unfair when they dropped it because we have to liberate more planets than we lose over this whole thing, so defense missions don't necessarily count towards the major order specifically to the count for it. It just means if successful defense would obviously prevent us from going negative, but we did have one active one on Herthon Secundus, which does have Illuminate Ruins on it, which may be tied into this next content that is possibly coming. But it looks like we did take the path of least resistance, right? The path that the divers decided to take over the weekend was the one without any mega cities at all, so straight liberations. I think that this is probably the better choice because the mega city planets do act a little funky. They don't really tell us how that works, but the cities themselves have their own HP and they do affect the overall eventually. But while you are obviously liberating those cities, if they're not really worth it, say it's a 1-star city, it's a little harder for us to liberate those planets. It feels like it takes a little bit longer. So we did indeed take the easiest path to get to Atelier Bay, and we are currently at its doorstep with 2 days left to liberate that planet. So I feel like we are going to win this major order easily, especially with the bug divers helping out with the major order, right? They liberated Tarek, and Nari has some good progress and looks like it's projected to be liberated as well. So the bug divers are giving us a +2. The major order itself, we would have to liberate 3 planets just to get Atelier Bay under our control. So that's a +5 starting out. And we've barely had any defenses thrown at us. One on the bot sector that was successfully defended, and a current active one on the Illuminate that we are going to lose, but that's perfectly fine since we're sitting at a +2, and obviously going to liberate one more planet before we succeed on this major order. Now, it wasn't without Joel trying to really throw a wrench into our plans with all the debuffs that they've been throwing at us with less stims, less ammo. The Eagle rearm times increased by 60 seconds right now. Also, interestingly enough, they did debuff the cooldown time on the orbital smoke strike, which is like, okay, thanks. Nobody really takes that. It has a pick rate underneath 0.3% overall, so it's hardly an impact at all. But all the debuffs really trying to make it a little bit more difficult. I didn't find it too much of an issue since the resupply stacks will give you the full ammo still. It was just the resupply pack themselves or ammo pickups on the map that were negatively impacted. Now, the major order does line us up bordering 2 planets with Illuminate Ruins on Herthon Secundus and Zia Ragosia. I did take a look at it in the Helldivers app, and since we can't actively dive on Zia Ragosia right now, any divers that are on there are either people that have modded the game, which is usually going to be a small handful, under 10 at any point in time. But I did see some spikes up to 35 people on that planet, So it feels like the devs are testing something out on that planet, and it's not just some people looking in the files or modding it themselves. So I'm really excited to see what may be coming. Hopefully it is meeting our expectations. It's going to be a really exciting time tomorrow, but the major order doesn't expire until Wednesday, so we won't see any new targets until Wednesday midday at least. Now, looking at Major Truth, it seems like he has disappeared after the meeting that was scheduled for Saturday. He did set up a meeting on the 29th in the Democracy Cafe, but we haven't seen any posts since then. Obviously, it's Sunday in real life. People may not have been working or posting on that, but I would expect something juicy probably today to really whet our taste buds, get us even more excited for potential new content, plus the Warbond coming out tomorrow. This is going to be an exciting time. I'm definitely going to try to check in there. He typically posts around noon, somewhere between 11:30 and 12:30 Eastern Standard Time in America. That's when he's been dropping his posts in there, so take a look at his Twitter page just to see if there are any other updates if you're that interested. Hopefully nothing happened to him, but he did talk quite a bit about anti-mind control devices, which is a potential because of some of the units from Helldivers 1 that are still missing from the game. So that is a possibility for new content coming, and does line up with some of the leaks that are out there. But I take leaks with a heavy grain of salt, just because the Warbond leaks that were out there was completely different than what we are actually getting. All around, this is a very exciting time. Also, next week are the Game Awards, when the Illuminate were originally announced and released last year, but that is next Thursday. It does not line up with any kind of patch schedule, or at this point any kind of Warbond schedule, or at this point any kind of major order schedule, since we are now moving to a Wednesday launch potentially, unless they do delay it another 24 hours before they announce the next major order. But that's all I have for today's video. If you like this content, please hit that like and subscribe, and I will see you on the Warfront, Helldivers.